This video is over interpreting features of a proportional graph. We're on level 2 in Delta Math for this assignment. And just to see the quick overview, remember that when we are doing any kind of graph and we are comparing one data point to another data point, seeing the relationship between two sets of data. And when that relationship is the same, we're going to get a straight, boring line. So every time I add a minute of use to my cell phone usage, I'm going to pay a certain amount. Or every time I add an extra topping to my pizza, I'm going to pay the same amount. Every time I go on the ski lift on vacation, I'm going to pay the same amount. There are many things in life that have the same predictable relationship. So in order to find that, that is called the constant of proportionality. It's just a really, really wordy way to say, hey, look, we're constantly proportional. We're constantly comparing one thing to the other and getting the same relationship, that straight line. And when we do that, and I just took a tiny little screenshot of something online and shared it here, and it's a little bit hard to see. This is not from Delta Math, but you call that constant of proportionality X. And so if you do Y over X, that's going to give you that constant. So just remember to find your constant, Y over X, that's going to give you, it's really this per that. It's miles per hour, dollars per hour, cans of soda that I drink per day, or whatever. When you hear the per, that's what that line is in that fraction. So this per that. Another way to rearrange that exact same relationship is the Y equals the constant times the X. So sometimes you'll see it in that equation form. I know this is like super tiny and hard to see, but if you take Y equals that constant times X, and we refer to that constant with that K, later on, you'll learn that as slope. Well, let's just divide away that X on both sides to simplify our equation. That gets rid of the X on the right. And so K equals Y over X. So just another way of saying that. We're going to look at proportions all sorts of different ways this year, and that's just one of them. So this particular question says line PN represents a proportional relationship, which means our line is going to be straight and boring. Point P lies at 16.8, as shown on the graph below. Which ordered pair could represent the coordinates of point N? Meaning there's some line with some boring straight relationship, and it could be it's made up of lots of little points that are smushed together. That's making up that line. But which one is hitting, which one of these 4 points would hit that actual line? So we have to find the proportional relationship between these two things. Okay, so remember Y over X. Our Y axis is right here. Our Y is 8. You find that it lines up with our P. Our X is 16. So Y over X is 8 over 16. And you can see pretty quickly that's just 1/2, right? So every time our Y and our X change, we're going up 1 over 2. So if you're thinking of, you might be able to see it pretty quickly. And one of the test taking strategies you can see is a lot of times if you see 2 related answers, it's probably going to be one of them if they stand out. Now they probably should have put like 0.8 as another option, but 1/2 is the proportional relationship. So which one of these, if I put the Y over the X, would I get 1/2? So 4/5 or 4.5 over 9 is 4.5, half of 9. It actually is. The answer is A. Okay, 9 over 4.5 would have been 2. 9 divided by 4.5 is 2. 3 over 1.5 is 2. 0 over 8 is 0. Okay, so that particular answer is 9 over 4.5, or sorry, 4.5 over 9, which looks like this as a point. So if we drew that point, and they go through this, they simplify Y over X, they simplify that to 1/2, and they show you each of the answer options, which I appreciate that they do that. And they do tell you that the answer is going to be that 9, 4.5. Okay, so that is what our line would look like right there. Okay, because our blue line, if we follow that same proportional boring relationship, that's the only point that's actually going to touch that line, and that would work for us. Okay, so same idea, less explanation on this next one. Line LK represents a proportional relationship, boring straight line. We've got 1.108 as shown on the graph below. Okay, so look, 10/8, and it's confusing because we're doing X and then we're doing Y when we name our point. But then when we look at the proportional relationship, it's got to be the Y over the X. Okay, so 8/10. 8/10 is simply 8/10. You could write that as a decimal, 8/10, right? Or you could simplify it as a fraction. They're both divisible by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Okay, these are proportional. So we want to find what other proportions. Just you could add 4 more to this and get 12, and you could add 5 more to that and get 15, 12/15, right? Or 12/15, excuse me. So a couple different things, but whatever we get, it's got to simplify to be 4/5. Okay, so you go through each of these items and put the Y over the X and simplify it. Did you get 8/10 or 0.8 when you divided? 7.5 divided by 6. Did you get 0.8? 0 divided by 2, 6 divided by 7.5. Did you get the same decimal or reduced fraction when you did that? And so if you go through each of those, the one that does match up, sorry, I don't want to like bore you with all of this stuff, is the 7.56. That's the point where if you take your Y over your X, 6 divided by 7.5, it simplifies to 4/5 as a fraction, or you would have also gotten 0.8 as your decimal in that problem. So once you know what to do, it's not too bad, but if you don't know where to start, it's a little bit creepy. So just remember, Y divided by X, that's going to give you that constant that you're looking for.